Morning YouTube. Stella, you're the Stella Moon channel. Today we're talking about anime, or manga specifically. So, I'm the type of person that, like, at a certain point in time, well, actually, let's go back. I grew up on anime, right? I used to watch anime back when I was 3 years old. I kind of got that in from my dad, and he watched it for all his life back in, like, the 60s. Um, and it was only really until like the eighth grade, seventh and eighth grade, that I kind of got into manga, right? And I kind of made the connection that a lot of anime is an adaptation from manga and light novels and things like that. And for a while, I was really big into manga because I was at a library. The library had a bunch of manga, and I was able to read it. So essentially, the access to manga um, allowed me to get acquainted with and allowed me to really start to like and enjoy manga. Um, and over time, though, getting hold of manga became harder. But then I just started to illegally download um, from manga sites and read them from there. But over the last like 5 or so years, I've kind of fallen out of getting into read manga, and now I kind of want to get back into it, right? But I don't really know how, and that's been a kind of constant struggle. Is that like there are certain shows that I like that seem from the people who are fans say, oh, it's better to read the manga, but like reading has become a very hard thing, and it could be because of the fact that I have autism spectrum disorder, so focusing is very convoluted, right? And there are times where I have hyper focus, and there are times where I just can't pay attention, and reading has become those things that has fallen out of focus for me. Where like reading anything, outside of maybe like articles, is like a kind of a chore, right? Like I have to really work to do it. When typically when you think of reading, you think of something that's more relaxing, something you can sit down and like pop in and then kind of either get hooked on or do for a quiet amount of time. But that's just not how my brain is wired at this point, and I don't really know how to necessarily rewire it. So this is going to be kind of an attempt, and I kind of like you guys' opinion and help on that too, on how to kind of get back into manga, because I really do want to go back to reading manga, because there's certain like narratives and and characters and themes that I want to get into, but like I can't wait for them to get an anime adaptation, right? And I can watch anime all day. Actually, even that I can't do now either. Like I used to be able to marathon stuff. Now I watch an episode at a time. A lot of things have changed from when I was a few years younger. Um, so yeah, if y'all have any like manga recommendations, any ways to read manga, I've been trying to get hold of physical copies. I've been trying to experiment because I haven't really had a physical copy of a book in a while. It's only really been in the past month that I've actually got physical copies of books. Um, and I really only have two of them. So a lot of my reading is using like apps like the Kindle app or just looking PDFs. And that kind of runs into another problem is that like when I use PDFs, they don't really like I'll retain it and I'll read it obviously, but for the convenience, there's a bit of focus that I lose, and the simple fact that like I can click tab and do something else, and like that like will kind of cause me to just not get back to reading it. Like I'll get on the tangent doing something else, or I'll get onto YouTube and I'll see a video and now I'm 3 videos in, or social media and all that kind of stuff. So I've been trying to figure out to use physical copies, see if that works, and I've been trying to get that. It's a lot harder just because of the pandemic. I don't really go into bookstores or stuff like I probably would have had this pandemic not being a thing. So yeah, this has been kind of a struggle. So if y'all have any recommendations on how to read manga, I guess, or what makes it easier if you're someone who like has an issue uh, with being able to kind of like sit down and read for long periods of time, how you do still like get the content you want, and the ways in which you read it. And also any recommendations. I'm thinking of going and reading Promised Neverland because I was a real big fan of it. Season 1, it was amazing. I thought it was something. It felt almost like it was gonna change the game. And then the season 2, I heard that they are basically doing anime original, and it kind of, even though I did like season 2, it was kind of like left a sour taste in my mouth because when I hear about what's in the manga, before I even know if anything's spoiling, it seems better, right? It seems like this should have been there, but obviously for whatever reason it's not. So I might go and read the Promised Neverland manga, start what I kept off, and just go from there. If you guys have any recommendations, please do help. And peace.